Good evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today we have on Kory Clarke from Warrior Soul. How are you?
I'm all right.
Well,
It's a nice day. Spring is here.
Well, I want to thank you. Introduce people to you that don't know who you are. You've been around for 30 years now of really kind of rocking and sticking to who you are.
Yeah. Well, the first album came out in 1990. If anyone can remember that.
And I remember it. I can still remember it.
Yeah, I can barely.
Oh,
but it was fun.
I remember buying it. So it wasn't that long ago.
All right on. Well, thank you very much for that. But yeah. That record sold pretty well. But the last record was just released in March. I wanted it to come out in December, but it came out in March. So,
and you're talking about Out on Bail, right?
Out on Bail,
which is a really, really good album. And
thank you.
You have a tendency to put out, I'm not just shining you on, you put some solid albums out. I mean, it's really, you know what you're getting when you get a Kory package, it's no.
Well, that's it. It doesn't sound like other bands. It's rock, it's punk, I don't know what it is. I mean, my solo records are, God forbid, who knows what the hell that shit is. But, it's artistic expression and, but pure art. And that's what my albums are.
Well, and I think it's always comes from that same wellspring, whether you're painting, doing a soul album or
Thank you.
Or soul is really just coming from who you are, and I think if you could have placated, the fashion guys been hot on a different level for 10 seconds, it sounded like somebody who was not you, not talking anybody.
Believe me, the record label that I signed to really wanted that certain aspect. Obviously, they thought one thing and I thought another, but
right. And it's better than that. And I think you put out some solid albums and you didn't have to change who you are. I'm sure they said, oh, rock singer, rough voice from New York, long hair. We got ourselves a package. And they didn't really do their homework. And, but it launched you.
it launched me in a big way. I mean, I wish that it would have happened slightly differently. I mean, they put me out as the first band on their subsidiary label, I guess.
Right.
DGC, David Geffen Company or whatever. And I thought it'd be probably a little bit better to go with the Uzi Suicide formula or the the Perry Farrell scenario at Warner's where they, set up, your own label and do a live album as set kind of thing, demos sort of thing, and put it out that way. And my attorney, Michael Guido, he said that was the way you should have gone. I tried to get everybody to go that way, but I signed with a major management company, of course, and I signed with a very major record deal. And they wanted to do things their way. So, I mean, I think Mike Rosenblatt, who signed me, really did want to have us put out, on Dead Government Records, the first album, or at least parts of the first album. But that would have given us more street cred than just coming out slamming. But the thing I guess the management was looking at was that, look, I was so out of the box and not part of the hair band metal LA scene that they thought it would be so different enough that it wouldn't matter. Just put it out on a major and let's go for the throat, which, in a way is kind of cool.
Right.
But my production didn't lend itself to that kind of thing. I was trying to push a lot of buttons and try to be something so completely different than all the stuff that I found so vile.
It's funny
out of LA, I'm just like, oh my God. But, and then in hindsight, what I probably should have done is just moved to Seattle
Yeah.
and just said, well, yeah, we're the political end of the Seattle movement, which is what we were in essence anyway.
I can tell you what, to me, it always felt like, and I could be wrong. So like Def and Getting You and DGC, whatever, and then seeing who you were and then getting with you, and then you releasing some albums despite all the acrimony. It's like getting married because the person likes who you are. You have some kids, but then they're mad because you change. Like you can't be who you are, and then why are you so different? The end. You know what I mean? They didn't marry you for who you were. You know, you had a couple kids from it. Those are your good albums, but it wasn't who you were trying to be.
No, and obviously I know you're just using it as a metaphor, but right. the thing is, I honestly didn't have children, and I on purpose, because my art is what I wanted to do.
Art is your children, and you got some good things from that
pure way.
Horrible relationship.
As a matter of fact, I didn't even have plants till about 2 years ago, because my girlfriend said, "You're over 50. You can have a plant." You know what I mean? I didn't want to have the responsibility. Yeah. I wanted just to concentrate on what I was doing. And now we got a couple of cats and stuff. And I'm like, oh,
you're wild, man.
When you're over 50, it's like, okay, you can have a cat. I allow myself that, and I've got a cactus and a palm tree, something like that. Yeah.
Those are the plants that really need the least amount of attention to on top of it. You're like, you could leave those for like 3 years and come back and you're still going to be there.
Well, that's the idea, and cats are kind of like that too, but you wouldn't want to do that. But
no, yeah. Big ball cat. But so, I mean, really your children is your art is what I'm saying. And
I think so.
I mean, that's good out of that.
I didn't feel pure.
No.
As an artist, if I did deviate in any way. I know a lot of guys do. I mean, I don't want to name drop, so I won't. But I've been to some guys' houses. They've got kids all over the place. But they still make, they don't write like they used to, but they do play. So
if people do it because they want to change it and it happens to have some commercial viability, make the money. But if you're doing it because you're just doing it for the money, you might as well just get a 9-to-5 job and do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, they say I just keep getting fired. But yeah,
you're known for being authentic, and that's why we can solve this conversation now, 30 years later from when I got your first album.
Thank you.
You're still the same. That's your musical reputation. That's your lineage.
I got a reputation, all right, but yeah.
Well, there's two different reputations. There's the media reputation that we've learned now in this world of TikToks and everything else that it's just nothing. It's just media stuff that are cracking out stuff. And I think even the media putting stuff out there has destroyed itself, And then there's just you have a reputation of being, hard to stick to your word and to what you want, despite anything. You'll blow something up if it's not what you want, to stick to who you want,
Well, it's certainly important to deliver what you have always professed to be. Otherwise, you're a Republican. I mean, you're like, you're not real. And being real, I think, is, especially in these days, is the most important thing you should be. And if you can't be honest with people about what you're doing, if you're trying to, be an artist, whatever, it's just be honest, man. Stop goofing around. Just tell them the truth. It's better than the lies,
Well, and that is the thing with being an artist. It's important that you are. Why being an artist if you're not going to be true to yourself? You know what I mean? That's the.
I mean, people are artists. People are everyone's an artist, but some people want to make money at it, and some people want to make a lot more money at it than other people want to make it. They prefer the money aspect to the art, the means to the end, more than the actual art. But I think at the end of the day, Bon Jovi goes, man, I wrote some cool song. And, and he did, of course. But, he didn't write Chill Pill. He doesn't have that in his back pocket. And I do. So
and the problem with him is he's now look at what's going on with his voice.
What's wrong with it?
It's gone. Like
really?
After the show, go online and Google these last couple of months. His voice is like he's either tone deaf or he had a stroke, and he just keeps doing these shows, and he doesn't have that high voice he did. It's just missing. And to me, I think either there's a medical issue, but if you think about it, at this point, he's so big, it's a machine. They can't stop. There's salaries, there's contracts. I think if he'd said anything, he'd lose contracts and be, you know what I mean? It's a
this is why they need to call me, because I will go in there and sing those songs for him.
You should drop a
and I got real hair and stuff.
Yeah, right? But that's what
people complain about, or like to try to make fun of my voice maturing a bit. And I just tell them all to fuck off, because my vocals on all my records are fucking kick ass. You don't fucking like it, kiss my ass.
Well, it's the same voice. I mean, and it literally feels like you're just like smoking a cigar and drinking a big bottle of Jack Daniels every night. Keep that voice so raspy. It's the rock and roll voice that everyone's aspired to. And and you change. Your voice is going to change as you get older.
Look, you get older, it's okay, old age.
Right.
But
look at
the thing is, everyone's instrument, voice, timbre will change. I still sing all the songs I wrote back in the early days, but I don't smoke, not regularly, and I don't drink whiskey that much.
Here's the joke. The old joke was if you do those things, and
I'm strictly on vodka nowadays. So
clear fluids is what they say.
But the thing is, I can still, I can sing that way. But when I do new stuff, I don't know why I draw this conclusion, but I like the way Marianne Faithfull ended with her. Well, she's still playing, I suppose, right. But where she started off with this very angelic voice, and then over the years, she got this raspy, tough voice. And, ask Lemmy how his voice is doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on. It's like, I'm ready to start my, Motorhead tribute band any day now. But, let's get high. Come on, let's rock. But I can, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. My vocals sound good on records. End of story.
I was in disagreement. I think to me, a lot of my favorite vocalists would not ever be on some kind of show that would showcase vocal talents, because those aren't the singers I would listen to, because it's technically they have certain voices. It's boring.
Yeah, if you want to hear somebody half-ass yodeling, you want that? I think it's boring as fuck. Yeah, I mean, those guys that, what is it, Trip to the Stars, or You're Tripping and You're a Star, whatever it is.
Any of those.
Those contest shows.
Right.
I just, I would pay $500 just to punch the judges in the face.
That's funny. So
I would.
A throat punch.
The
thing is though, like now when you're writing songs, and I see you get nice guitars there too, are you writing what is your process now when you're writing? Has it changed a lot? Are you doing because a young Kory,
I don't know,
a poet,
dude,
of sorts? Has it kind of evolved? You kind of how you know what I'm saying? Have you kind of changed?
Dude, I will, if somebody calls me up and goes, and this happens more often than not, check this riff out. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, send it to me. And then I'll start designing around it.
Right.
Sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be so pissed off, and I'll just come up with something like kind of like hip hip hooray. Trump died of COVID today. You're like, just right in the kitchen. And I'm like, this is awesome. And I call one of the guys that I work with, And I go, this is what I want the guitars to do. And I would send that over my bass line.
Yeah.
I got all the instruments here, but whatever. And they come back with like some screaming stuff. It's like, okay, yeah.
So you really open it, whatever. So I mean, you'll come up with your own riffs. You'll take other riffs. You're just an open vessel.
Dude, I am an absolute whore when it comes to music. I will take anything that somebody says to me.
I mean, it's just an open vessel, really. I think, and notice that. So let's take a minute, talk about the title Hip Hip Hooray. Now, when this first came out, I saw this. I was like, what is this title about? This feels so not you. That it's clearly going to be tongue in cheek. It's going to have something, you're going to hear it and someone's going to be coming on the backside to smack you,
Yeah.
And I wasn't disappointed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Well, hearing the title really
I think it's a really cool record.
You're still
delivering. Yeah. Well, it's the actual song's a true story, but we won't get into the dirt, will we? But yeah.
And I don't dig for it. You can share whatever you want. You're a grown man.
No, I don't care. I don't care. Let's just say I've been in jail.
That also goes, I'd be out for bail and
Yeah. But yeah, that's a true story. And most of the songs are autobiographical, unless, I'm singing about social issues or whatever.
Just like your take.
Yeah.
I think cancel culture, I love the beginning of that. I love the bass on that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think
now that bass line was done by one of the guitar players off of the Back on the Lash album out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And he just came up with these I've got these guys in Chicago.
Okay.
And a guy named John Polachek, they call him Full Throttle, and Adam Arling from the Las Vegas. I don't know if you know those guys, but they're guys Chicago, full-on Chicago musicians, right? Okay. They play out, they tour, all that, whatever. But we now and again get into the building and just knock a few riffs out after a few margaritas, and it turns into magic. And that riff was one of the riffs, and we just put it into a bass, used it as a bass line rather than just a guitar line. And that was a switch up by Dennis Post, who's my other guitar player.
I like a good sound.
Just pump it out.
And that goes back to the bass sound. Now,
yes.
But to that point though, and that was why I'm talking about is it's once again, I love that you don't have to put a lot of effects on its sound. It's a very strong, and that kind of bass tone is very much feels like a raw rock and roll to like a lot of the rock bands that are more.
It's Fender,
right.
Ampeg,
and it's kind of got a punk to it. And it's got early rock and roll to it, and it's authentic.
Yeah. And Pete McClanahan,
And the song title is funny, cancel culture, because you're stuck on, with that one right now.
I mean, it's another true story. I mean, obviously, I'm taking the piss. I'm sure
of course you are.
I'm sure Tom Zutaut will be happy about it, but he does still like me, obviously.
Well, I think if you know you this long at this point, you've got to.
He did. He wrote me not long ago. He's like, I miss your crazy rock, dude. Yeah.
Well, this new one will be pretty good. So, and the other song is a little bit different. Is the new Paradigm is also a little different. It's a little bit different.
That was originally recorded with the band I was playing with, Mob Research, which was Raven from Killing Joke and Ministry, and God, my memory's so bad.
All right. Not tough.
Mark Thwaite from The Mission.
Oh wow!
And that came out 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, Paul Raven died before the record came out, and so we were going to tour with Ministry, etc. Never happened because he was gone, and he was the linchpin. And I've got a lot of really serious songs on that record, and they never came out. I waited 10 years, 12 years. I said, you know what? I'm going to I'm going to do my own version of this one. And that's what it is.
Oh, it's a great song. It's just,
Thank you.
it's Kory, but it is just a little twist of a different. There's just a little different to it, a little different seasoning. You know,
you should listen to the Mob Research version. It's probably
Right.
on YouTube. Yeah.
I'll check it out. I mean, it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
good. I like
So
it. I mean,
it's serious shit, dude. Really. That album is serious and nobody even knows about it. There's so many records I've done that nobody knows about, you know.
well,
It's,
hopefully, you know, some people check this out and follow your links and check you out and dig deep. You know what I mean?
yeah, whatever, man. Believe me, I'm chilling, bro.
It's about the artist that you discovered. You know what I mean? Afterwards, it's always later in life, right?
You know, well, that's, you know, yeah, the fine wine approach to your career, I guess. But yeah, whatever. I'm cool. It's like,
you love your albums and you love your albums, and I guess you can still pay your rent and have food. It's good.
well, that's the important thing.
You know what I mean? Would
But,
be nice
you
to
know,
have like extra houses. Yeah, it wouldn't suck to have money.
no, I don't know.
But does it
I don't
matter?
know. Honestly, I don't have a car. I don't have anything like that. I don't need it. I've got a crappy little electric drum kit and some guitars and stuff. I've got an Akai MPK Mini that I have never plugged in. Been looking at it for a year. And I just don't know what to damn do with it. And then you know, I got a 18-speed pedal bike, you know, I go anywhere I want.
There you go. You know, and sometimes simplicity is better, and that's like almost as writing songs. And I think that's why you stay true to what you do for your music, because there's a certain point where you can have a lot of cool effects, and I can love some really great effects and stuff. But
Yes.
at one point, I do have too many. But I also love just plain good songs. It's really about the songs to me.
Well, that's kind of what Back on the Lash was about for me. I never did dry and cranked vocals, and that was pretty much, you know, my Rick Rubin dry and cranked album. And I thought it was cool, you know. Good musicianship, good songs. You know, I know that all the song titles on that album sound a bit flaky, but if you listen to what I'm really singing about, it's for real.
It takes, you know, well, I think with all your albums, it always takes a couple times. It's never like you're gonna pop it on and
Right.
you're singing, like, example, like Bon Jovi album, where you're gonna be like knowing it, feeling like you know the next word because of the style of the music. It's not, I don't like digging any types of, like, you know, artists, but I'm saying, but that's a certain genre of music where if it's a pop song, you kind of know what's coming.
It's pop. I'm not a pop guy. I mean,
but when you listen to you, it's going to take a couple listens,
yeah,
and it stays with you longer. And that's the album you're going to have in your car or your truck or whatever in 20 years and still put it in because it's going to resonate as a song.
Oh yeah, and
to the distance.
I always make the lyrics so that it will be timeless. You have to think about that when you're putting a record out, especially on major labels or something, because that's going to be out there forever. What you have to do is really make sure that what you say is not necessarily particular to that point in time all the time.
Yeah.
But now that I'm an old bastard, I can say, you know, hip hip hooray, Trump died of COVID today. I don't have a problem with that because, you know, who cares?
I'm gonna say it's funny. It's like, you know, when people get older, there's a certain point where they're like, they start saying things, whatever they want off the top of their head. That was you when you were like 20.
Yeah.
What are you gonna be like when you're older and you say, I don't even know, how much higher can you go? Where's your 11 or 12?
I don't know. I try to get higher all the time. It just, you know, how much can you do? But
I don't think so.
You know what? I walk around with a little recording device, and just whatever comes off the top of my head, I just record all day long. It drives my fiance crazy. And I mean, some of the nastiest MF things you could ever imagine coming out of my mouth. But I can do that there. And then I can maybe hone it in a little bit and try to be a little bit nice. But believe me, there's a lot higher I can go.
I imagine that there is.
Yeah, it's worse than you think.
Do you because you've done a lot of, albums that are out there, but what about like demos or like doing some independent releases just like on your own, like just to put them out there that maybe you don't have to worry about? Would you do something like that ever? Like just put your own stuff out there
My
online?
solo, I did a solo series called the Opium Hotel series,
Right.
which I did 2 albums. That was, I pretty much said everything I need to say on those records. I would say my own solo acoustic record has that kind of aspect. And my another, like a major release would have been Payback's a Bitch, which is another solo record. So I've got 4 records that are out there.
Right.
And I'm going to re-release Payback's a Bitch
Oh, yeah?
at the end of the year here.
1 second. Sorry.
So, yeah. Because it's got so many great songs, and I just can't, I mean, you can check out any of the songs on that record.
And I've looked them up. I guess what I think is with people should revisit that, but also I'm saying some artists at this point in their career, because they don't need a record label, have so much music that at this point, they're just putting it out on their website for people to hear it.
Right.
Because they just don't, I mean, as an artist, you don't want to, you only
trust
backlog
me,
so long.
Trust me, everything I put out is everything I got. Because I got to live, you know what I mean? I don't have anything else. This is
no
me.
judgment. I'm just saying, because sometimes people have like, issues with the labels and whatever. They're just like, put this out on my own,
They Geffen burned down their facility, their facility, wherever it was.
So like, what is the plan now for like touring or releasing singles or continuing to push your music out there and just, performing with the way the world is and everything for you right now?
Well, I had to turn down that Rolling Stones tour, and I didn't want to upstage Metallica last year. But to be quite honest, I socked it out pretty hard in the club circuit for about 30 years.
One could deny that. Your energy for like 2.5 hours every night is just like,
yeah.
I get tired watching your videos. I'm like, I gotta take a nap halfway through them nowadays. I'm at 51. I can't even watch a whole video of yours live. I'm like, I need.
You know what? It turns into autopilot at some point. You're just like, yeah. And you halfway through the show, you're like, wow, I'm halfway through. Then you're 3/4. You only got 2 more songs left, and you're like, wow, we're already almost over. And you got to start thinking about what we're going to do if we're going to do an encore or something. You know what I mean? So you don't really feel it. It kind of just happens, and the emotion and everything and the adrenaline and people, it's amazing. It's great.
You have a strong voice though too. Was it hard? Was it just always easy to not have to worry about it, or did you have to do a lot to maintain it live? I mean, you've run a lot into your vocals and in these years for a long show. That's a lot in a vocalist.
Well, especially when you don't really have monitors and your guitar players are fucking insane loud.
Yeah. Well,
there's I mean, it's just, and I came up in the days where people were smoking the whole time and you couldn't even breathe. There was like this thick of a fog, like over the top of everybody. It was like, fucking hell, man. I mean, I remember gigs where I'm just passing out, just wow. But, it's in the future now coming up, right? If COVID stops on some level, yeah, I'll go. I'm booked for November right now, but people keep getting COVID, and like I've got friends that are getting sick, and I'm not really, you know what I mean? Do I need this? Is not going to do anything. Yeah,
well, I've heard people I know have done heroin, and they're like, I don't trust the vaccine. I'm like, you've done heroin.
You're an idiot. Yeah.
This is where you're going to draw the line about heroin, but this is the one.
What's worrying is a lot of people I know that were shooting coke and heroin. They end up in bad shape at the end of it. Even when they've stopped for 20 years, things turn up, and that's dangerous. I mean, yeah, I've had 2 shots, and I think that's enough for now. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, we still have to see what's going to happen.
Right. I think the world should be better about washing their hands. And I think working on keeping yourself and viruses down in general is a good rule of thumb, I think, moving forward anyhow.
Smell my finger.
Heck, no, I don't think so. I'm still dealing with my mask and coffee breath. I can't get past that. You know, that's too much. But it's important that, we all stay safe and you can still go out there. And I mean, no one could take that from you. You put your time in the clubs and rocking, And I remember going to like 751. So I've been to the clubs and the shows that you've done where it's like that. And I don't know how people didn't pass out or, everyone has cancer from secondhand smoke in those clubs going there in the day. I didn't even have to smoke. God forbid I'll end up with cancer because of all the clubs.
Dude, I couldn't even believe it when they outlawed smoking in New York. I was like,
world.
Yeah. California wimps, pussies, yeah, whatever. They'll never ban it. And then in New York, they banned it. And it was like, whoa, maybe I should stop smoking. And I did.
It feels good.
Yeah.
To not have it in you. And it wasn't a judgment thing because I didn't smoke, but I'm like, you know what? I do appreciate not having it around me. I didn't complain when it was there.
I can't handle it anymore. It's like I see people smoking. It's like people driving a gasoline car. You're like, what century are you guys in, man? This is like way old style shit, man.
Well, it's really insane that it's like that. Well, I want to encourage everybody to go to your site, get a fun site, get some fun write-ups on it, check it on all the platforms, buy some merch from you, go support you. So
why not? I mean,
that's what the idea
at the very least, listen to some music.
Listen to your old stuff, listen to the old stuff, listen to this new album. It's great. Listen to some of the songs I talked about, discover your own favorites from it. I'm the kind of guy, I like artists, and the shows usually has a lot of people that I like to call a slow burn. Where you listen to it, go back, listen to you like, I didn't hear that, or this is my new favorite song this time. I can't believe this wasn't my favorite. I like that kind of music. You know what I mean?
Well, it is that kind. You can go deep on a Warrior Soul record and go, wow, I never listened to that track, really. In
your life, because the songs are topical and relatable, kind of like with a book, where you don't need movies to see your Brad Pitt's doing this and that, because that's the story. That's why a movie's great for a movie. But songs don't need to become a movie, just like your lyrics don't need a central character because it's relatable at different times.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you're correct there. I never drew that conclusion, but yeah, it makes sense to me.
That's what I get from it. I mean, we all get our own different things, but to me, I can hear different parts of different albums from you or other artists, but like you in particular right now, I can think of different songs that I'm like, I'm not into the album right now because that's not where I'm at in my life. But then this album, this is where I'm at. Yeah. I mean, and that's.
Well, yeah, that's what music and, unfortunately smells.
I did talk about.
Unfortunately, music and smells are kind of the thing that drives you back and forth.
It's back with smells again. That's the next album. I think it's a song now.
I just like the way it smells, bud.
That's right there. Put that on a shirt. That's awesome. I want to thank you for coming on today and sharing.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate the very nice, kind interview. I wish you the best in Connecticut. I hope you have a great summer. I know it will be. I know it will.
I'm sure it will be too. I want to thank you very much, man.
Call me sometime. Cheers.
Cheers. All right. So I'm